Stop messing up your dips. Do this before you hydro dip anything. Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about what you need to do to make sure that you get the best hydro dip possible. And we've got a few little tips and tricks to make sure that you get that dialed in and everything works the exact way that it's supposed to. So without further ado, let's get started. The first tip is definitely going to be make sure that you don't have any water in your air lines. Now, of course, with us coming out of summer here, normally this isn't going to be that much of an issue like it was in the summertime, but you definitely still want to make sure that you check that. We have plenty of filters all in our lines throughout the entire shop, but even if you just have a desiccant filter that's on the actual spray gun, or if you just have a shop filter or anything like that, always make sure that you clean out your lines. You've got no moisture or water in the lines because of course any moisture that is in the lines that goes through that paint gun is going to mess up the activation and it's definitely not gonna dip. So number two is going to be even activation. Now, you've probably saw a lot of the other videos where we cover activation in a lot more detail. And of course, if you're interested in those, we're gonna have some links in the description below so you can check those out. But you always wanna make sure that you have an even amount of activation, because if you don't, then as you probably already know, if you've been doing this, that you're not going to get a very good dip. Part of it may dip great, the other part may just wrap up like a piece of paper going into the water, and that's definitely not going to look good whenever it comes back out. So number three is kind of a carrier to number two, and that's going to be making sure that you get that glassed out look. Now, if you've seen any of the other videos, you've probably heard me say it 1,000 times, you want that glassed out look, and that is exactly what you're looking for. You want that smooth glass look that's on top of the film, so that way you know that you got a really nice and smooth, even distribution of activation, and it makes sure that the inks are fully liquefied and they're able to actually wrap around the object and not just act again like paper going into the water. So number four is also going to carry on with number two and number three, but number four is going to be make sure that you test the film before you actually dip your part. Now, if this is a film that you're using a lot, then of course, I'm sure you probably already know the parameters of it, but if you have a film that you're using for the first time, always make sure that you cut yourself maybe a little 6x6 square or something like that. Test your hand. We've also got a couple of videos on that, on testing the film, so definitely check those out if you haven't already, but always make sure that you test the film because you might have maybe a little bit different activation, a little bit different soak time, maybe even a little bit different dwell time, but all of those things are going to play a big factor in making sure that everything works correctly and it all lays out the exact way that it's supposed to. So number five is more of a bonus tip, but I'm going to go ahead and add it anyway. So if you do have a part that you may not be accustomed to dipping, or maybe you're just getting started, make sure that you know exactly how you're going down into the water with that part, because if you are dipping it the first time and you haven't actually tested going down into the water or seeing how the water flows into that object, whether it be a big object or a small object or anything like that, your film activation could be perfect. But if your dip is off, then of course it's probably still not going to work. So always make sure that if you have a part that you are possibly not exactly sure on how to dip, or you need just a little bit more practice on, always make sure that you just test dip that part maybe 15 or 20 times just to build that muscle memory, because the muscle memory is going to be what's going to make sure that you dip it the right way, whether it's a roll or whether it's at an angle or maybe a combination of all of those. So that way, as you're going down at this angle, you might actually have to roll it back and then also still feed it in. So those are always going to be things that you definitely want to make sure that you know exactly how you need to do that before you actually activate the film, because if not, then let's be honest, we all know the end result. It's not going to look good, and then you're going to be redoing it again, which nobody wants, especially if you're in business trying to make a profit. So I know this video was pretty short, but hopefully this gave you a lot of pointers on what not to do before you actually dip. And then that way it'll hopefully get you on a better track to make sure that everything comes out the exact way that it's supposed to be. Because of course, let's be honest, the dipping is a really fun and enjoyable experience if everything goes right. But there's a lot of variables to it, so you gotta make sure that all of those are all lined up to make sure that everything works the way that it's supposed to. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, hit the like button, as well as if you're interested in more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. We'd always love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips on anything hydrographics related. As well as if you're interested in getting into the hydrographics, or you're wanting more in training or film or anything like that, definitely check out the website. It has everything that you need for the supplies for the water transfer printing. If you haven't already, definitely check out the links in the description below. It has links to the website, which has everything that you're gonna need for the hydrographics, including tanks, training, film, activator, even custom film and regular film, paints, clear coats, everything there is all there on the website. So definitely check that out. It has everything that you're gonna need if you're wanting to get in this industry. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.